The lack of effective stakeholder management is one of the most important reasons for program failure. And I really do believe this, and I see this time and time again. One of the most difficult things that we all are faced with in our roles is time, and being able to get as much done in as little time as possible. And I really do believe that this is often why stakeholder management is not done well, is just simply because people have other priorities and they're busy and they don't spend the time on it. And this is often what causes all our initiatives to fall over, is not really having the time to think about those stakeholders properly. And really, managing stakeholders well can actually give you more time back. So I'll give you an example. One client project that I worked on a few years back was an organization, a very large organization in Australia. And the program had stalled and they really just couldn't get cut through. So they had spent millions of dollars on consulting the strategy. It comes with consulting firms, with two of the very large consulting firms. And they had slide decks of 150 pages with the most brilliant analytical work done on what they needed to do to implement these improvements. These were business-wide improvements in their organization. And everybody could see that it was worth doing and it was going to make a huge enhancement to their brand. And yet they couldn't get any forward momentum, and they called us in to have a look and see what the problem was. It became apparent to us that the problem was that the stakeholders weren't managed in an efficient way. And unfortunately, that is what caused them to stall. Now, when we looked at their stakeholder list, there were 71 people. Look, that's a lot, okay? But that doesn't mean you can't manage 71 people. The problem is you cannot manage stakeholders individually as a list of 71, and you have to manage them in subgroups. It's really the only efficient way you can do this. That's what gives you leverage. If you can pull out the ones that are really, that you really need to spend the time with individually, and the rest of the folks you can group, it's really worth the time to think about this stuff, because this is what's actually going to save you time. I have spent in some projects uncounted days of work just managing corridor conversations between people, because there's just that not noise and not agreement. I've gone into environments where I've just seen huge amounts of hamster wheel conversations again and again and again. By starting with that macro structure of the right groups in the right forums, discussing the right things, that will take you a huge step forward to quietening down some of the noise and helping you with that cut through to move forward.